Access Fort Wayne offers reflections of our community. Production facilities provided by Access Fort Wayne are a service of the Allen County Public Library. The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily represent those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting organizations. For more information about creating your own television program with Access Fort Wayne, call 421-1250.
Hello, and welcome to our show, The American Veteran. I'm Dale Parrish, your host. Carl Fowler is our co-host. Our guests today are from the Shepherd's House, Gary Shanks and Lonnie and Barb Shanks.
Cox. Jesus Shanks.
Sorry about that. Anyway, Lonnie, I understand you're the founder of the Shepherd's House.
I'm the founder. Yes.
Okay. You want to explain to our viewers just what the Shepherd's House is?
Shepherd's House is a transitional living center for veterans with drug and alcohol problems who basically most are homeless with life-endangering issues, PTSD, alcoholism, and drug addiction, that kind of thing, which kind of all go together, actually.
Yeah, sure. How do they know about you?
Well, I think it's getting to the point anymore. Everybody has heard of the Shepherd's House, I think, from TV interviews and newspaper and that kind of thing. But we really don't promote. It just happens. I think we get referrals through churches, hospitals, some off the street, the Veterans Administration, and just various places that...
How many veterans can you accommodate?
We can accommodate up to 46 with the two buildings.
Great.
We have the actual Shepherd's House, the original Shepherd's House on Tennessee Avenue, which is where we conduct all of our AA, CA, and all the meetings we have, NA, and spiritual counseling and that kind of thing. And then we have a building behind us, which is adjoining property, which is on a Spy Run next to the BP gas station on Spy Run.
Yeah.
So we have the property, the large property, used to be the old Landmark building. Right. Is where we started out. And then we have the small building, which has 6 rooms and our weight equipment and everything downstairs to accommodate the guys that are in the other building, which is right on Spy Run at the alley.
How do you... You run at full capacity, do you, or
I
three
think
quarters, or
we're the whole system? You mean the whole Shepherd's House system?
Yes.
Yeah, we're pretty much, I think, at capacity now, aren't we? We might have a few beds.
We have a couple of empty beds,
Yeah.
so I'm hoping this show finds a couple of homeless veterans in need.
so
Usually we
you're
keep the numbers right
close,
up there.
pretty close to full capacity.
Yeah, pretty much full.
Now, is that
yeah.
just due to this weather, or are you that way most of the time?
No, there's demand. You know, there's supply and demand of business and industry,
Yes,
and
there
there's
is.
supply and demand of those in need also. And there's only so much supply with a large demand.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many homeless do you think there is in this area?
We have done surveys. Do you recall off the top of your head, Barbara, what the...
Their survey, the count in Fort Wayne, along with the Veterans Administration, says there's 300 homeless. And that's children, women, veterans, just individuals. And there is that small percentage that we cannot reach. There are veterans out there literally under the bridges, behind the mission, and they don't want our rules. We're a very structured program. They still want to drink, so we're just continually praying for them that they're going to see the light.
And it's hard to believe, you know, especially with PTSD. You have no idea what that person is suffering through. And I'm sure that has a lot to do with some of it. I'd rather live under the bridge. As Carl and I were talking about the Korean vets, Korean War vets, you know, in that cold weather, how you can sustain that for long periods of time and losing limbs and, You know, well, these guys are willing to do that with their.
But you lose that body heat very rapidly in this kind of weather, and
Boy,
it's
the
tough.
last few days anyway, for sure.
It's very
That's
tough.
right. Yeah.
I feel sorry for these people. I wish they would seek help.
And there are some, I think, they're just too much of a man. Like, I'm a Marine, I can't
Yeah.
go seeking help. I can get through this. I think there's a lot of those out there also that.
They may suffer through it, but you know, that's a lots of suffering for
Yes.
needlessly.
They lose hope.
Yeah.
I think a great deal of them lose hope. And they come into Shepherd's house, the first thing you see is a 7.5-foot cross embedded in the ceramic floor. And
Yeah.
we think, we've seen it since 1998, God starts at ground zero, and everything that they had as far as hopelessness, God just keeps building,
Rebuilding, restructuring.
Yeah.
and they walk out a different person. And Gary was one of those. He's graduated the program, he absolutely excelled, faith-based to the 12th degree.
Mm-hmm.
So now he helps us run the house.
Well, when you showed me this brochure here, I sort of had it in my mind. Well, you bring hope to these people. I hope that's one thing that's in my mind about Shepherd House is give
Absolutely.
these people hope.
It's all God.
Yeah. Okay.
I think there's been a lot more attention brought to the subject of homelessness also with the Iraqi war, you know, with all those troops coming home. And I will say that the government has stepped in to a point, you know, to take care of these guys also.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for years, who'd ever thought there'd be homeless veterans out there? It wasn't in the conversation.
Right.
You know, but now it's more in the conversation.
Yeah.
And the government realizes, well, we got a problem here, we need to take care of it.
Well, I can understand a person doing a tour of duty in these God-forsaken countries in this, but you know, to go back second time, third time, fourth time,
4 and 5 times.
yeah, and that would play with your mind.
Yeah, back in my day in the 60s, you did your 13 months and you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
you go home, but no, these guys go back 3 and 4 times. I don't know how they do it.
I don't either.
And the injuries are so much different. Also, I mean,
Yeah.
The traumatic brain injury is absolutely terrible. I always thought I'm the eternal optimist. I always thought there's a fix for everything. There is no fix for that.
Yeah.
just contain
These
it.
young boys come back. We had a 24-year-old, 28-year-old. They can't retain information for more than 2 minutes. They just can't, they don't remember. And there is no fix for the rest of their life.
Yeah. That's
And
sad.
I'm not a veteran, so I'm picturing combat. You go to combat, but these young boys now, they go to combat and they look at a sweet little boy, tiny little boy, strapped with,
Explosive.
oh
Yeah.
God, and dogs. I mean, here comes a harmless little dog that blows the group of them up. Our own social worker was in a Jeep and her Jeep literally exploded. She's got a rod down her whole spine. Extreme pain all the time.
Yeah.
Awful.
Well, compared to the other combat situations, you know, the survival rate is much higher now because of you know, choppers getting
Choppers
them,
are getting them back to the base units,
technology, medical technology,
Sure.
and here this guy's in a vehicle and it rolls over an IED. Well, they can save his life. Back in the old days, I mean, he just passed away on the battlefield and they sent him home. But now they can save those lives and they come back as in the condition that they come back in, and you know, there's what you end up with. That's where we're at.
Right. So we have lots more wounded.
A lot more
than what we would have
and
had
like she
during
says,
the other wars.
Traumatic brain injury,
Yes.
really high on the list.
PTSD, ridiculous. The suicide thoughts, ridiculous
I've
to
heard
the
of-
levels that they are.
Yeah.
I think some of them don't even know they got PTSD.
They don't.
They just
No, they don't.
don't know it.
No.
Don't realize it, I mean.
They have no idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just know that life just isn't working out well for them, and they can't make those decisions that the average person can, and can't understand why. But that's what it is.
How many people do you have out there at the Shepherd's House helping out?
As
My
far as
Lord.
volunteers, we are tremendously blessed. There's how we started this and did it the first maybe 10 years by ourselves, I have no idea looking back. Because as big as it gets, there's people that do all these little segments that are absolutely necessary. Like Gary handles the office, 3 times a week? But a group makes welcome packets, so when a new veteran walks in, they get a whole kit with towels and toiletries and linens and just everything they need. Another group all year round. These are aging people like 75 and up. They're making them handmade quilts all year round so at Christmas each client receives one of those.
So maybe they feel they're giving back, right?
Oh, tremendously.
Oh, yeah. We want for nothing. It's just like between the people and God, which still comes down to God urging those people, I'm sure. Right. But anytime we're in need, it just happens.
Okay, now this has got to cost money. Where's it come from?
Well, like she said, the volunteers come through for us, and when we need something, it just happens.
That's great.
We pray about it, and it happens.
Yeah, corporate sponsors, do you?
We didn't until probably a year ago. A company not even from Fort Wayne started sending $100 a month, and he's been faithful all this time. Yeah. And now Applebee's stepped up, and they came and baked cookies. I thought it was just employees from Applebee's, but in actuality, it turned out to be all the regional managers of Applebee's clear across northern Indiana and Ohio. The owner of all of them is a veteran, Ron, huge heart, but they adopted all the clients' children for Christmas. I mean, with wonderful presents. And Olive Garden will come once a year and just treat the guys, like serve them. It's a wonderful meal. Ziano's, we're just tremendously blessed. Yeah. The guys, the clients just feel like they're being honored.
That's great.
Tens and tens of sponsors. I mean, they just come through. What do you need? Well, we need this, and it just happens.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. And I understand Lowe's and
Lowe's, Home Depot has come through for us dramatically, especially on the second house. Lowe's came in and gave us all the 2x4s and a drywall, and I mean even like 75 gallons of paint it with when we were finished. And then now we need all the doors. Well, you're talking about $600 or $700 for a fire type door, to meet code.
Oh yeah.
Boy, what do we do now? So we were contacted by Home Depot, and says, what do you need? Well, we need doors. Well, let's see what we can do about that. So they took care of the doors, had them installed for us, and everything.
And all the furniture.
Yeah.
And then Christmas comes along. Well, it doesn't sound like much. You decorate your house, you put a tree up. Well, we've got 14,000 square feet to decorate. ITT has come in for the last 3 years, like 24 of them, and decorated the entire facility. And then gave me a $1,500 check to buy Christmas presents for all the veterans.
Yeah.
Fort Wayne is a very giving city.
Yes, they are.
Especially the veterans. When it comes down to it, I say 90% of our supporters are veterans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've looked at your web pages, and you're getting support from judges and the sheriff, and I think it's tremendous.
Well, they see it works.
Yeah,
in 1998, I love to tell this story, we went to the judges thinking that they'll know where homeless people are. The judges wouldn't refer a ground squirrel to us because we said, God wrote this program and it's going to work. We had no education, no training, and now we have a letter of support signed by 6 Superior Court judges because they've seen it over the years. It works. God wrote the program and it works. He doesn't make mistakes.
Well, at that time, the commonality was a 30-day program. So, we thought, I was a closet alcoholic addict myself for years. I thought, well, how are you going to fix this in 30 days if I lived it for 25, 30 years?
Yeah.
And but that was what they did back in those days. And we said, no, ours is a minimum 90-day program. Oh, well, we can't work with you because we deal with 30 days. That should be plenty of time. And no one would refer us. And then all of a sudden they saw the outcomes. They started referring us. And then the whole bottom fell out one day when Barb and I took a vacation, and the place just come unraveled. And then they wouldn't refer anyone to us for about a month. And we reestablished, and finally we were contacted by Community Corrections about years later, and He said, well, now we'd like to put some guys in your place, but we've got rules that we go by. And I said, well, let me look at your rule packet. So I did, and I said, well, no, this won't cut it with ours. It's a minimum 6-month program, and we have all these structural things that they have to abide with to live there.
Well, like what? While you're talking about them.
Well, remember your military days. You get up in the morning, you're up by 7 o'clock, you make your bed, you do the things you got to do. You have so much time to get that done. You have chores to do every day. Things that...
You're kept busy.
Yeah, well, you know, the difference. Like I said, you know, I've been through the drugs and the alcohol in my lifetime. And I thought, you know, we are all alcoholics or addicts or both. But where are we different? I mean, because we're all different, where are we the same? The only way we're the same, we lack structure. Getting up in the morning, doing those kind of things that the average guy driving a Cadillac to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, why is he driving a Cadillac? Not when you have a car. Well, he's up at 5 o'clock in the morning out doing what he needs to get done. He's already had his shower and things, the structural things that we all lack. You know, and that's why we have a problem. We have no structure. So we're 95% structure in the shepherd's house. And I think Gary will tell you that.
That's good.
And we stand by it. Like if your rack wasn't made when you were in the military, you got reamed.
I mean, we all remember our military lives, and you're
Exactly.
right, it was structure.
Yeah.
Very structured.
Didn't like it, but we put up with it.
No, you didn't like it.
They don't
Well,
like it. They
you
hate us at the beginning.
It became an everyday thing after a while. You knew
Sure,
the rack, you know, and you knew to make it tight. I was in the Marine Corps. You better bounce a quarter off of it. I mean,
Right.
I don't care whether you're hung over the night before or not. You better have her done right. I mean, the rifle better be clean. If there's rust on it, you really got a problem. You know?
Yeah.
But of course, we don't have rifles to worry about or anything. But we do have racks that need made up and keep the area clean, common areas, and we have inspections through there. And I hate to say this, but we'll have a field day, and I'll go through. I'll get my white glove. I'm Marine Corps.
Yeah. Okay.
That's good.
But then there's the health problems of the people. They have to take care of themselves that way
Exactly.
too, don't they?
Yes.
You make them shine the shoes?
I don't go that far now.
You don't go that far?
Don't
Okay.
reveal me yet, but I've been thinking about that.
Okay, very good.
You mentioned codes a while ago, city codes. I'll bet that is quite strict with that many people that you have living out there,
Not as you would think.
isn't it?
First, we had to get zoning when we bought this building. And zoning, we took a high-dollar attorney with us and everything who volunteered his time, and he didn't really have to say much at all because I think the city realized the need in the area.
That's good.
And we had proven ourselves in the other building that, we actually cleaned up the neighborhood rather than tear it down. And I think we've got one of the most beautiful buildings in the city of Fort Wayne, and we keep it that way.
You do.
We maintain it well, and the guys do.
The clients do that.
We kind of demand it a little bit, but they hop in and they do what they need to do. They're proud of it.
Okay. If somebody walked in there today, how long are they allowed to stay there? I mean, you can't just throw them out after a certain length of time.
No, we have a minimum 6-month program. Now, you got to remember that, because we're not going to help you in 30 days.
Right.
But we have had some clients that come in, and they've got it together within 3 or 4 months, and if they're housed up and everything and employed, and hey, more power to you. Excuse me, just come back for the meetings for a while, stay in touch with us so we can keep an eye and make sure everything's, and we'll help them with food and that kind of thing, whatever it takes to get them going.
Yeah.
But that's a small percentage that, within, I would say probably 5%, when you say, that are ready to leave after a few months, just enough to build themselves back up.
Yeah.
But on average, I think the average is probably 8 months to a year.
Or just a little over a year, maybe.
And we've had a few that stayed 2 years and then transition into the other house, or a year in transition. So whatever it takes to build that absolute solid rock under them. There's no sense putting 12 pieces together and then not really putting your bar up higher to handle everything else.
And everyone's different. Their needs, what they need when they come in, how far.
So, do you help them with finding employment or?
We do what we can to find employment.
probably some employees might even call you for if they need somebody.
Yeah, we do. We have some construction companies that, of course, right now in this snow, there are not many phone calls coming in, but we've got construction companies that call us, say we can use 3 guys for 5 days or whatever, and we kind of hand select the ones that we think that we're going to do them some good in that field. And,
What I personally didn't realize is, thank God our social worker is also a veteran. Some of them have had a livelihood, but now they come back and they've got health issues or physical issues and they can't do that livelihood anymore. So about 4 months ago, I think our tally was we had 23 veterans enrolled in college learning another vocation. I think that's tremendous.
Yeah.
It's working.
Do you have ministers or priests that will come in and help?
yes, we do. In fact,
What do you
the
think of that?
chaplain, VA chaplain, comes in
Oh, does he?
once or twice a week and sits down with the guys and talks with them. And of course, anything that's involved in the federal government, you got to watch saying Jesus and all that kind of thing, Christmas, and well, there's ways of getting that done. We let them do that on their own. We don't force it, we encourage it.
Highly encourage it.
But they learn by watching the others that have been there a while. I think, would you agree, Gary? When you see a guy, when you see the miracles that happen in the building,
Absolutely.
after a while, then you start saying, well, you know what, this guy might be the real McCoy.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yep.
He's got a plan. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, he definitely has a
Absolutely.
plan. And so when the new guys see the older guys receiving all the miracles, here a guy comes in and let's say he's done things in his past and he's looking at prison time or whatever, and he goes to court and judge says, well, I'm going to give you one chance. And then 30 days later he's got a job, and then another 30 days later he's got his own car. And
When
so these young guys see that.
Yeah.
When Jack Hannigan was on, he was talking about the courts now are giving the veterans a better chance rather than just throwing them in
Veterans
jail.
court, yeah, it's actually a separate court like the drug court.
Which is an absolute miracle.
Yes.
But it's
Yeah.
Judge Gull and Judge Phelps. They're
Yeah.
going to run it. But it's all because
They're
of
running it, yeah.
John Serbeck, Judge Serbeck, got it all put together, which is amazing.
And they are different. I mean, you've got a veteran coming back from war, and he's suffering from PTSD. Well, that doesn't give him the right to go commit crimes, but at the same token, it gives it a second look, and understand what's going on in his brain to make something like that happen.
What's the ages of the residents out there?
We've had as young as 20
Have you?
and old as
67.
67.
We called him
I know in the
Pops.
60s.
On a cane, just got out of prison, 67 years old.
Oh, gee.
And then we go to a lot of stand downs to find veterans in need. Well, we had this one fella, it was freezing out. And I'm at my little table, and he keeps coming over to me like over the last 4 hours. And I gave him a brochure, and I said, you keep coming here, and you're not making a decision. So if you ever want to find a home instead of staying at this mission, I think it was in Kokomo, I said, you've got a home at Shepherd's House waiting for you. Well, Roy came, and Roy was with us. Now, he was a Vietnam-era vet. He never, ever knew that he can go to the VA and get medical services, never knew about glasses, never knew that there were meetings available for him, never knew that he can get a monthly, what do they call that when they send them a check monthly for disabilities?
Disability check?
Disability.
Yeah.
Never knew that. Didn't have anything. He had a Parker. I thought he seriously was about 80 years old. He was a year younger than me. He had an old, filthy beard, mustache, one coat, one set of clothes. And he was with us, about a year? And I
a year
kept
more,
finding
yeah.
him in his pickup truck in the lot. So I finally went up to him and I said, Roy, why are you in this pickup truck all day long? He said, it's mine.
He'd sit out there
Wow.
for hours in that
He
pickup
was
truck.
so happy.
That was before you came there, Gary. He'd sit out there just letting the engine run, listen to radio, because he had a truck.
He had nothing for all those years, and no one said, let me help you navigate through the system. Wow.
And that's where it's at, I think. There's a lot of information out there. We need to get the information to the veterans of what, and if they call the Veterans Administration, hotline. They can get all kinds of information, but there's a lot of benefits out there for them that they don't know about. So it's a matter of getting the word out to them.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there that'll help too. Like we
Sure.
spoke about Wayne Ithier a while ago. And Jack Hannigan. They're out there helping these guys.
Yes, they are.
They have picked them up, taken them to the VA for appointments. They've picked them up, taken them for job interviews.
Well, Wayne will drop by and talk to the guys out on the congregating areas out on the front porch. They all sit out there and smoke their cigarettes, talk about war stories and things. And Wayne will come out and just sit down with them and say, "What do you need?" And within a week, he'll have a bunch of stuff out there, whatever they need. Wayne's a good man.
Yeah.
He's a really good man.
Yeah, I haven't seen him for quite some time, but yes, he is.
It's nice that he not only recognizes that they need help, but that he's able to provide that help. He must have some backing too, to be able to go around and get the things that they need.
Wayne
he's
knows
a
a lot of
bulldog.
people. Yeah, he is
Yeah.
a bulldog.
He will get it done.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if it needs to be done, he'll go after it. He'll make sure it gets done.
Gotta admire
With the
people like
resources
that,
he
don't
has.
you?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes. That's the mentality.
Exactly.
And the guys see that, like, wow, this guy's really going to bat for me.
Yeah, Wayne has been through some hard times back in the early days when he came back from Nam. And so he can identify with a lot of these guys.
Been there and done that.
Been
right?
there, done that, and
Yes.
yeah. Like we say, if you think I ain't never been there and done that, pick up a rock and look underneath. You'll see our initials carved in there somewhere, 1973 or whenever.
Amen.
We got a couple of minutes yet. Is there anything you'd like to close with?
Jared, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, I just was sitting here thinking about, what's available with the VA. There are so many benefits available from the VA that, people don't realize.
Yeah.
Dental, vision, counseling. I mean, when you go to the VA, they just don't slam the door on you.
No, they don't.
If you've got a need, they'll take care of your need, irregardless of how little or how big it is. And it's a blessing to have them. And one thing that's nice about the VA hospital is just a few blocks from the shepherd's house, and it's in good weather. It's in walking distance for about 10 minutes. About 10 minutes. A lot of guys walk over there and just visit and what have you. But there's just so much to offer. The veterans, and they do. Anybody that's a veteran that has issues, problems, mental, physical, whatever it might be. Through the shepherd's house, we have a social worker there, and she's wonderful, and if you got a need, she'll figure something out for you. Yeah.
They said,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Our house managers live in the house. They actually have an apartment on the west end of the building there. It's a man and his wife, and they're empty nesters. The kids all gone to college, got married, and that kind of thing. So they live there 24/7. And you can tell them about them.
Oh yeah,
Wonderful people are
they're
alive.
wonderful people. They,
Incredible.
Their family.
they're incredible. They're family, and we have 3 house mascots. We got 2 cats and a dog.
Just a giant family.
Yeah, and they're all family.
Well, I'll tell you what, I hate to shut you off, but we're out of time. I'll tell you what, you two are going to have stars in your crowns.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Well, just the puppets. It's
Yeah,
all
we just-
God.
Yep.
With fingers.
Thank you for being on our show.
Well, thank you
Thank
for
you.
having
We're
me.
blessed to
Thank
be
you.
here.
I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you found something out today. If you see a veteran or somebody in uniform, just walk up to them and say, "Thank you for your service. Remember, freedom is not free." Good night.